doesn't the WMSCOG do this? I mean, honestly, evaluate it. At what point have they gone out and done public service without somehow announcing it and taking pictures, making sure other people know about it? If they're going to do something good in the public, you better bet you they're going to make sure other people know about it. So that last part of his comment, he says, would you explain the reason why Jesus condemned the Pharisees then, when he was saying that they are hypocrites and brood of vipers? And that's what brings me to Matthew 23, where Jesus pronounces woes on the Pharisees. So I'm just going to read through some of these. Consider, as you're listening to these pronouncements, this evaluation, now Jesus was doing some evaluation of the Pharisees. I want you to see, is anything here familiar? And does any of the behaviors, the attitudes, the spirit that the WMSCOG walks in, is any of it similar to some of these condemnations that Jesus gives? So Matthew 23, starting in verse 1. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, the scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do, for they preach, but do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. They do all their deeds to be seen by others, for they make their phylacteries broad and their fringes long. Okay, so they lay heavy burdens hard to bear on others. Jesus said, come to him. He said his yoke is easy, his burden is light. Truly evaluate, WMSCOG members, your experience in this group and ask, are there heavy burdens that you're carrying? Is the gospel work bring you peace and lightness and freedom and inward joy? I'm not saying a fake outward joy, we love you, God bless you, we're all happy, put on a smile, because if you don't, your leaders will rebuke you in the back room. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a true inner peace and joy where I know that I'm good with God. I know he's my Father, he loves me, and I'm good. I have peace. I have assurance. Is that your experience? Is it that lightness, that easiness? Or if you're truly honest, has this organization laid heavy burdens on you that are hard to bear? Tithing, ridiculous amounts of your income, separating you and causing disruptions in your family and persuading you that it's for noble, holy purposes, but in reality, it's just manipulation and control and causing you to cut off the most meaningful, significant relationships in your life and cutting you off from the people that really love you. This organization, these people don't love you. They don't care about you. The moment you step away in any fashion from their doctrines and system, you are dead to them. Okay, that is not unconditional love. That is Pharisee. That's exactly the kind of behavior you'd see from Pharisees. So again, who's the Pharisee here? Okay, because you insist on continuing to say in the comments, we're the Pharisees. Who really is the Pharisees here? But the question is, are you light? Is the burden easy of the WMSCOG? Or again, has this organization laid heavy burdens that are hard to bear on your shoulders? I would argue that it's that one. That's what this organization does. They don't point you to the true peace, freedom, grace, free gift that salvation is supposed to be. They make it something you earn, something you have to work for, and it's a paycheck, not a gift. This says, verse 5, they do all their deeds to be seen by others. Doesn't the WMSCOG do this? I mean, honestly, evaluate it. At what point have they gone out and done public service without somehow announcing it and taking pictures, making sure other people know about it? If they're going to do something good in the public, you better bet you they're going to make sure other people know about it. Right? Am I wrong? I mean, former members, you can testify to this, right? Tell me in the comments if that's incorrect or not. Do you know of a situation where this organization or the leadership in it performs, public service or some kind of good works, and they don't try to make some kind of show of it? They don't let the news outlets know about it. They don't hang it on their wall and make it the first thing they tell people about when they bring them into their church, which was my experience. The first time I stepped foot in a WMSCOG building, one of the first things they did is said, "Oh, have you seen our awards? Have you seen, look at this. This proves that we're, look at how good we are. Look at the good things we do." And it's fake. It's empty. They're doing all their deeds to be seen by others. They make their phylacteries broad and their fringes long. And they love the place of honor at feasts and the best seats in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplaces and being called rabbi by others. So yeah, all this he's saying, look, the Pharisees, they do what they do, not because of not because of an inward change of heart, not because inwardly their character is loving, good, truthful, sincere. There's no integrity inside in the things they do. They do what they do because they want to be seen, they want to be praised, they want to be elevated. And I would argue that's the behavior of the WMSCOG. So again, you want to talk members in the comments about who's the Pharisee here. If the shoe fits. And I think it does. And he says in verse 12, whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Let's talk about that word, exalted, exaltation. And consider how this organization functions, okay? The way they kind of put themselves out and think of themselves in relation to other churches and organizations. It's this exaltation of we, and this is just a common cult thing. Cults, one of their key things that you're going to find in most cults anyways, the ones I'm familiar with, is they are going to exalt themselves above every other group, every other teacher, every other organization as the only ones who've got it right. So self-exaltation. We got it right. You got it wrong. It might appear on the outside to be some kind of, they're thinking that way for noble religious reasons, spiritual reasons. But truthfully, it's arrogance. It's pride, and it's them thinking they're better than other people, thinking God likes them better because they keep the rules better. And it's, again, a self-exaltation. It's exactly what the Pharisees did. So verse 13, he says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. For you neither enter yourselves nor allow those who would enter to go in." There are hungry people who want this entering in. They want to enter into the kingdom. They want to find truth about God. And the WMSCOG captures them and points them in this direction, completely away from truth and peace and life that is supposed to be a part of the true experience of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is about peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. It's about loving other people. It's about knowing God, knowing the free gift of God's love, experiencing that, let that produce in you hope and joy and faith and love. And then you give that out, you pour that out to other people. And the WMSCOG takes people in these vulnerable situations where they're in these situations, whether they're in college or whatever, and they take people who are hungry, searching, like this says, you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. So they take them in and they say, oh, this is the way. This is the way. And they lay heavy burdens on them and lead them in the exact opposite direction of where the kingdom actually is. Verse 23, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you tithe mint, dill, and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel." If I could point to any of these places in this verse that I think most clearly resemble the WMS, I would say it was that one right there. So they neglect the weightier matters of the law. Things like justice, mercy, faithfulness. Again, these inward things of character and integrity, things that come from inside. They completely neglect these things, and they focus on the outward. They focus on, like it says, they strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. It's like they could care less if a person inwardly is changed. They could care less if they themselves are operating in truth and integrity and love. Demonstrated pretty clearly by how when former members who claim to have been harmed and hurt by this group share their experiences and try to speak out, try to explain what their pain and hurt was, well, they're just immediately demonized, immediately thrown under the bus, immediately just made out to be these horrific people. So they give no justice to these people. They don't seek after justice. They don't seek to examine themselves and say, wow, did we do something wrong here? Is there something we need to evaluate and change and do differently moving forward? They don't do that. They deny, they accuse the other people, they demonize the ones who say anything that would indicate that this church does even the slightest thing wrong at times. They deny it all. And they say, nope, we've done nothing wrong, you're evil, and they show no mercy, no faithfulness. As Jesus said, they neglect these things. They strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. They put their eyes on whether or not somebody's keeping the Sabbath and staying at the church all day and tithing and preaching enough. And all the while, there's all this mercy and love and faithfulness that's being entirely neglected by them that they just completely ignore and do not care about. This group cares about outward things, and they have no care. They completely neglect matters of the heart, inward things. And that's what Jesus was concerned about. So if you want to know, you can continue to read through this, and it really is I think you'll see that what Jesus was upset about is, he goes on, and I think it might be in the same place, talks about how on the outside, these people were like whitewashed tombs. So they look pretty, they look nice, they look religious, and they look like they've got things in order on the outside, but inside they're full of dead men's bones. And in the same way, WMSCOG members, those of you coming in the comments saying you're doing what the Pharisees did 2,000 years ago, maybe, but I would say the evidence, the examples of how you behave in the comments, your aggression, your arrogance, your elitism, as if you are the ones who got it right, everybody else has it wrong, your immediate condemnation of people like me without even giving us, a moment of meaningful attempt to hear what I actually believe or teach. Who in this situation, again, I'll ask, who in this situation is doing what the Pharisees did 2,000 years ago? I would say it's you guys. And I'll leave that to the audience to decide. But yeah, Jesus talked about whitewashed tombs on the outside, inside dead men's bones. I think you guys are so focused on, is this person doing the thing I think he ought to on the outside? Am I doing the thing? You're focused on that. That's the same perception you have of yourself. You're thinking, am I outwardly doing these things? Am I going to church enough, preaching enough, tithing enough, that your leaders are condemning and rebuking you when you don't keep up with the outward performances? And all the while, you are giving no thought to the condition of your heart. You're giving no thought to, am I inside? Does my heart, does my response to people, does the way I'm treating other people, is the way the WMSCOG leadership is treating me, does it look like Jesus? Does it look like kindness? Does it look like humility, gentleness, patience? These things that Paul says are the fruit of the Spirit, the fruit, the evidence of those who are truly connected to God. These things will naturally manifest. If you're walking with God, if you think that the things you're doing, the obedience you have is really making you good with God, well, one of the evidences of being right with God is, as Galatians says, the fruit of the Spirit, again, I think it's Galatians 5, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. I'm not saying I know the condition of your heart. Maybe you are having these things, and maybe you members commenting are just having a bad moment, a bad day. But most of you coming in the comments, you are demonstrating, you are revealing to me by the way you behave, by the way you talk, by your lack of gentleness, by your lack of patience, by your immediate aggression, your immediate assumption that you have it all figured out, you have me figured out, you have the former members figured out. The arrogance, the pride, you demonstrate, you come and you reveal the contents of your heart to us. So hopefully something here got through, penetrated. I would encourage members to just think about what I'm saying. Watch through the videos of former members and listen before you speak. Come to the videos not just with a preemptive plan to just speak your mind and show us where we're wrong. Come and listen to the former members. Listen to some of the things I said. Give us a fair hearing before you speak and throw your rocks from the comment section. Most of you just come and you immediately just start throwing rocks, proving that you didn't even watch the videos, because half the things you said are either answered in the video or completely irrelevant to what was said in the video. The points we make in the videos just continue to, be completely not addressed, not responded to, or just completely ignored. So I just say, take the time to listen. Proverbs talks about how it is folly, to the one who speaks before he listens, it is folly and shame to him. And that's what WMSCOG members unfortunately do so often in these comments. And I think there's a better way. I think we could have real conversations. And I would continue to open the door, invite Hezekiah, you or other former members to come onto a video with myself or with a former member and just have a conversation. You're willing to spend hours upon hours, day after day, commenting in the comment section. Why not, if you have the truth, why not come onto a video with us and talk like a human being face to face? That invitation continues to be open. Just let me know if you want to do something like that as a member. Reach out to me. The email contact will be in the description of the video. We would love to have any member on to talk about whatever topic you want. But I hope something in here was helpful, and it's probably gone on long enough. So thank you to everybody who watched. Thanks to the supporters of the channel, those who support on a monthly basis. Allows me to keep having the time to do this. So I really appreciate all of you who are doing that. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.